In last video, I have explained definition of solution, solvent and solute, types of solution and basic concepts related to solution. Today we see solubility, factors affecting solubility, vapor pressure and Raoult's law. First we see solubility. The solubility of a solvent is its amount per unit volume of saturated solution at a specific temperature. The solubility of a solute is its maximum concentration and expressed in the concentration units mole per liter. Here first we see saturated solution at a specific temperature. Means the solution which contains required amount of solute at room temperature, that is normal temperature. Means the solution must be saturated. Then we see amount of solute. Amount of solute means how much solute can be added into solvent. Means concentration of the solute, and the unit of concentration of the solute is mole, M-O-L-E. Then we see the volume of solvent. How much solvent taken means volume of solvent. Unit of volume is liter, dm cube, meter cube. Thus, unit of solubility is mole per liter. Generally, the unit is mole per dm cube. Then we see factors affecting solubility. The first factor is nature of solute and solvent. Generally, the compounds with similar chemical character are more readily soluble in each other than those with entirely different chemical character. The saying that like dissolves like guides to predict the solubility of a solute in a given solvent. Like dissolves like means liquid solvent and liquid solute dissolves easily into each other. If we take liquid solvent and solid solute, then it takes some more time. Also, solid in solid or gas in gas dissolves easily, but when we use solid means solid solvent and solid solute, then it is converted into liquid. Also, if we consider gas means solvent is gas, solute is gas, then it is also converted into liquid. Substances having similar intermolecular forces are likely to be soluble in each other. Generally, polar solutes dissolve in polar solvents. This is because in these solute-solute, solute-solvent and solvent-solvent interactions are all of similar magnitude. For example, NaCl dissolves in water. The strong ion dipole interactions of Na plus and Cl minus ions with water molecules. Hydrogen bonding between water molecules and ion-ion attractions between Na plus and Cl minus ions are comparable. Then we see second factor, effect of temperature on solubility. How solubility of substance changes with temperature depends on enthalpy of solution. Means, depending on temperature, the reactions are exothermic and endothermic reactions. In exothermic reaction, heat is evolved, and in endothermic reaction, heat is absorbed. This is called as enthalpy of solution. Many solids, for example, KCl, dissolves in water by endothermic process, that is, with increase in temperature, the solubility of KCl in water increases. Generally, as the temperature increases, solubility of solid increases. The exothermicity or endothermicity, for example, dissolution of CaCl2 in water is exothermic, and that of NH4NO3 ammonium nitrite is endothermic reaction. The solubility of these increases with the temperature. Means, it is not always true. It is not always true. In the reactions, exothermic and endothermic, the temperature factor varies. Therefore, we see experimental observation of some ionic salts. In graph, there is temperature in degree Celsius on x-axis and solubility of solute is on the y-axis. Here we see some ionic salts like KNO3, NaNO3, NaBr, KBr, KCl, NaCl. In this graph, we see that there is solubility of NaBr, NaCl and KCl change slightly with temperature. Also we see solubilities of KNO3, NaNO3 and KBr increases appreciably with increasing temperature. Also, the third factor is solubility of Na2SO4 decreases with increase of temperature. The solubility of gases in water usually decreases with increase of temperature. When gases are dissolved in water, the gas molecules in liquid phase are condensed. The condensation is an exothermic process. Therefore, the solubility of gases in water must decrease as temperature is raised. Then we see the third factor, that is effect of pressure. Pressure has no effect on the solubilities of solids and liquids as they are incompressible. Incompressible means we cannot apply more pressure on solids or liquids. However, pressure greatly affects solubility of gases in liquids. The solubility of gases increases with increasing pressure. The quantitative relationship between gas solubility in a liquid and pressure is given by Henry's law, and the law states that solubility of gas in liquid is directly proportional to pressure. Then we see vapor pressure. Vapor pressure of solutions of liquids in liquids means here solvent is liquid and solute is also liquid. For this, consider a binary solution of two volatile liquids A1 and A2. Volatile liquids means the liquid which evaporates easily, means whose boiling point is less, or whose boiling point is less than 100 degrees Celsius. When the solution is placed in a closed container, both the liquids vaporize. Eventually, an equilibrium is established between vapor and liquid phases. Both the components are present in the vapor phase. The partial pressure of the components are related to their mole fractions in the solution. This relationship is given by Raoult's law. Now, first we see here the concept of vapor pressure. For this, if we consider a liquid in open vessel, then when the vapors of the liquid are formed, then these vapors goes into the atmosphere. But if the volatile liquid is taken in a vessel and it is closed by a lid, then the vapors accumulates near the lid, and there the vapors condenses. and converted into liquid. This liquid form again comes into the solution. Means there is formation of vapors and formation of condensation. Means the liquid comes into the original solution. This process starts simultaneously, and after some time a stage will be come to the system at which the rate of vaporization and the rate of condensation becomes equal, and it is called as a stage of equilibrium. At this particular stage, there is some pressure exerted on the surface of solution, and it is called as vapor pressure. Now we see the Raoult's law. Raoult's law states that the partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of a solution is equal to the vapor pressure of the pure component multiplied by its mole fraction in the solution. Partial vapor pressure means pressure of one component in the solution of the volatile component. Then we see the term mole fraction. Mole fraction is denoted by letter small x. The mole fraction of any component of solution is defined as the ratio of number of moles of that component to the total number of all the components present in the solution. Therefore, the expression of mole fraction of component equal to number of moles of component divided by total number of moles of all the components. Here we consider two components, that is solvent and solute. Therefore, number of moles of that component and total number of moles of all components are considered as follows. If N1 and N2 represent the number of moles of solvent and solute respectively, here N1 is the number of moles of solvent and N2 is the number of moles of solute. Then mole fractions are given by first mole fraction of solvent, that is x1 is equal to number of moles of solvent, that is N1, divided by total number of moles of all the components. All components means number of moles of solvent, that is N1, plus number of moles of solute, that is N2. Also, the mole fraction of solute, that is x2, equal to the number of moles of solute, that is N2, divided by the total number of moles of all components, means number of moles of solvent N1 plus number of moles of solute, that is N2. Therefore, the equations for solvent are x1 is equal to N1 upon N1 plus N2 and x2 is equal to N2 upon N1 plus N2. Now, the sum of mole fractions of solvent and solute is always 1, means x1 plus x2 is equal to always 1. Mole fraction of solvent and solute is 1, therefore the value of x1 is equal to 1 minus x2, and the value of x2 is equal to 1 minus x1. Now we see the Raoult's law. Suppose that for a binary solution of two volatile liquids A1 and A2, P1 and P2 are their partial vapor pressures. Partial vapor pressure means pressure of that pure component, and x1 and x2 are their mole fractions in solution. Then, according to Raoult's law, we write P1 is equal to P1 naught x1 and P2 is equal to P2 naught x2, where P1 naught and P2 naught are vapor pressure of pure liquids A1 and A2 respectively. According to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the total pressure P above the solution is P is equal to P1 plus P2. Therefore, P1 naught x1 plus P2 naught x2, since x1 is equal to 1 minus x2, the equation 2.2 can also be written as, by putting the value of x1 in the original equation, P is equal to P1 naught into 1 minus x2 plus P2 naught x2 is equal to P1 naught minus P1 naught x2 plus P2 naught x2. Therefore, the equation is P2 naught minus P1 naught x2 plus P1 naught, because P1 naught and P2 naught are constants. A plot of P versus x2 is a straight line as shown in the figure 2.2. The figure also shows the plots of P1 versus x1 and P2 versus x2 according to the equation 2.2, that is Raoult's law equation. These are straight lines passing through origin. Now we see the graph which is plotted mole fraction against vapor pressure. In this graph, P1 naught means the partial pressure of first component when x1 is equal to 1 or x2 is equal to 0 and x1 is equal to 0 and x2 is equal to 1. These conditions are as we add or we consider only one volatile liquid in first case. In second case, we consider the second volatile liquid, and then in third case we consider total pressure, that is P1 plus P2. These graphs are decreasing for first volatile component and also for the second volatile component. Thus, the starting vapor pressure is denoted by P1 and it goes on decreasing. For the second component, we consider the point P2 naught. This vapor pressure is also decreases, and the total vapor pressure is given by P1 plus P2. In the first case, we consider P is equal to P1 naught plus in bracket P2 naught minus P1 naught into x2. If we take value of x2 is equal to 0, then the equation becomes P is equal to P1 naught. If we take the value of x2 is equal to 1, then the equation becomes P is equal to P1 naught plus P2 naught minus P1 naught. Here P1 naught minus P1 naught cancels, and therefore the total pressure P is equal to P2 naught. Second case, we consider for the A1 component, that is first component, and the equation is P1 is equal to P1 naught into x1. If we take the value x1 is equal to 0, then P1 naught into 0 means P1 is equal to 0. If we consider x1 is equal to 1, then P1 is equal to P1 naught. The third case means for the second component, A2 is equal to P2 is equal to P2 naught x2. If we take the value of x2 is equal to 0, then P2 becomes 0. If we take the value of x2 equal to 1, then the value of P2 equal to P2 naught.